What drives economic growth? Who benefits from it? Is it ultimately necessary for society or self-defeating? Discuss with reference to any three of the following: Smith, Malthus, Ricardo, or Mill. Our junior tutor has said that the Malthusian theory of economic development. Malthus's principles of the political economy show that he was more realistic in his analysis of population growth in the context of economic development as compared to his essay on population. He said that for economic development, population growth alone is not sufficient. Rather, it is a result of the development process. As Malthus wrote, an increase in population cannot take place without a proportionate increase in wealth. The demand for labor directly depends on the rate of capital accumulation. As one increases, the other will also increase. This encourages population growth. But wealth will not increase due to the insignificant changes in population. In fact, population growth increases wealth only if it increases effective demand. The role of production and distribution. Malthus regarded production and distribution as the two grand elements of wealth. If both of them are combined in the right proportions, the wealth of a country can increase in a short time. On the other hand, if they are dealt with separately or combined in improper proportions, the time taken to increase wealth will be thousands. I think will be much longer, is what they were trying to say. So for increasing the wealth of a country within a little duration, Malthus emphasizes maximum production and optimum allocation of resources. Factors in economic development. Need some water. Malthus reformed the problem of economic development by explaining the difference between the potential gross national product and real gross national product. But the principal problem is one of achieving a high level of the potential gross national product. According to Malthus, the size of the potential gross national product depends on land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. These four factors, when employed in the right way, increase production in the agricultural and industrial sectors. An increase in both agricultural and industrial production depends on the accumulation of capital, the fertility of the soil, and technological progress that leads. Besides this, Malthus gave importance to non-economic factors in economic development that includes the safety of property, good constitution, and excellent laws, properly administered and hardworking, and regular habits, general rectitude of character. Don't think I'm gonna have much to add to this one. I think our junior tutor is covering pretty well everything I could say. Adam Smith said that for a developing economy, both income level and capital stock rise. The rate of capital increase also shows a tendency to rise. This increases capital over a time period. So I guess if we go back to that previous question there was that like kind of island economy for a developing country. If they bring in tourism to increase their income level and they then invest that money from the tourism into infrastructure, they will then be increasing both their capital stock as well as the income level because they can now employ people of the island. At this stage, the economy has reached its stationary state, which is totally different from the state of underdevelopment. In a stationary state, the common characteristics of the economy become unchanged population, constant income, subsistence wages, complete elimination of profits, and absence of net investment. He stressed the point that the rate of economic progress would only rise if the rate of investment rose. However, the savings and investment rates were primarily dependent on the excess of the market rate of profit over the minimum compensation for bearing risk. Bearing risk, please bear with me, I'm almost done reading. According to the Ricardian economy, there is no emphasis on the stationary state. Progress in the economy is often interrupted for short intervals when it enters into a state of equilibrium, during which the wages stabilize without any growth in population. During these periods, the net income of the economy do not fall to zero, and the rate of return on the investment is more than what is necessary to compensate for the risk. Excess wages above the subsistence level promotes population growth. In this temporary phase, the rise in wages decline the proportion of profits and income, which leads to a slower rate of capital accumulation. Eventually, when the supply of labor almost matches up with the demand for it, the economy reaches a new equilibrium position. Comparison of older and newer economies' equilibrium positions depends on at least two major aspects. First is the size of the population grows with every new equilibrium position the economy reaches. And second is the capital stock of the economy, which also grows larger with every successive equilibrium position reached. Carter believes that an economy that has reached a stationary state is characterized by wages at the substance level profits, which are merely enough to compensate the risk, constant capital stock, maximum possible population, and a fixed quantity product. In Carter's time, underdevelopment did exist. My much shorter take on what drives economic growth would be infrastructure and education are two major ones. There are certainly more, but especially for a developing country, infrastructure and education are two very, very important ones. Question 8, this is our second last question.